In a forgotten corner of our world, a house stands in silence, a monument to the unknown. This is no ordinary dwelling, but an eerie relic, weather-beaten and shrouded in a cloak of dense, impenetrable fog. Its paint is chipped and faded, its windows dark and hollow like the eyes of a long-deceased creature. It stands alone, a tombstone in an abandoned graveyard, untouched by time, yet bearing the weight of 1,000 stories. Enter our protagonists, a group of friends, as diverse as they are daring. There's Jake, the fearless leader, his eyes always alight with the spark of adventure. Emily, the practical one, her cautious nature often clashing with Jake's audacity. And then there's Sam, the joker of the group, always ready with a quip to lighten the mood. Their curiosity piqued by tales of the house's mysterious past, they find themselves standing before its looming edifice. The house, they'd heard, had been abandoned for decades, its previous inhabitants lost to history. Local folklore whispered of strange occurrences, of eerie sounds that echoed in the dead of night, of shadowy figures seen in the periphery, then disappearing when given a second glance. The hair-raising tales only fueled their determination to uncover the truth. Were the stories true, or merely figments of the townsfolk's overactive imaginations? There was only one way to find out. The decision was made. Ignoring the chill that ran down their spines, they approached the house. The wind seemed to howl in protest, the trees rustling with an intensity that mirrored the unease in their hearts. But they were undeterred, their resolve unwavering. As they stood before the old wooden door, they shared a glance, a silent agreement passing between them. With a deep breath, Jake reached out, his hand closing around the cold iron door handle. As the door creaked open, the silence of decades was disturbed. They stepped in, oblivious of the horrors that awaited them. As they ventured deeper into the house, the forgotten past began to resurface. The air grew colder, and an eerie quietness blanketed the old mansion. The friends, once lively and boisterous, found themselves hushed, their laughter replaced by the hushed whispers of unease. The house seemed to sigh with an ancient sadness, its wooden bones creaking as if in protest of their intrusion. Strange noises echoed through the deserted hallways, a symphony of whispers and groans that seemed to originate from the very walls themselves. It was as if the house was trying to communicate, to tell them something. The friends could feel their hearts pounding in their chests, their breaths becoming shallow. The quiet whispers grew louder, a cacophony of unintelligible murmurs that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere all at once. Each room they entered felt colder than the last. Cold spots that sent shivers down their spines seemed to materialize out of thin air, as if the very spirit of the house was brushing against them. The hairs on the back of their necks stood up, a primal instinct warning them of the unseen dangers lurking in the shadows. As they delved deeper into the house, they stumbled upon signs of a tragic past. Old photographs covered in dust, family portraits that bore the weight of untold stories. A broken crib in the corner of a room, toys left untouched for decades. Each artifact was a piece of a puzzle, a glimpse into a past that was better left forgotten. The house seemed to come alive with each new discovery, its tragic history unfolding before them. Fear and curiosity intertwined as they found themselves drawn into the story of the house. They could feel the sorrow, the despair, the pain that seemed to seep from the very walls. And yet, they couldn't tear themselves away. The house seemed to be alive, whispering its dark secrets to the unwelcome guests. The friends, once eager for an adventure, now found themselves trapped in a tale of forgotten tragedy, their laughter replaced by the chilling whispers of the house's past. In the heart of darkness, an unseen terror lurked, waiting to be awakened. A chill, more frightening than any winter's cold, began to creep into the heart of the house. It was as if the very walls were holding their breath, bracing themselves for the unimaginable horror that was about to unfold. The friends, once filled with jovial laughter and camaraderie, were now consumed by an overwhelming sense of dread. It was a palpable fear that gnawed at their sanity, a fear that grew with every passing moment, every creaking floorboard, every flickering shadow. The house, once a symbol of forgotten times, had now become a living nightmare. The air grew thick with tension, and every room seemed to echo with the whispers of the unseen. The friends could feel it, the cold touch of the invisible entity that had been stirred from its slumber. It was a force that moved with them, around them, through them. It was everywhere and nowhere at the same time, a phantom presence that left its icy fingerprints on their terror-stricken souls. As the specter's influence grew, so did its power. Items began to move of their own accord. Doors slammed shut, trapping the friends within the confines of the haunted house. The once familiar surroundings twisted into a labyrinth of fear, each corner holding a new terror, each room a prison of dread. Desperate cries for help were swallowed by the oppressive silence, their pleas returning as echoes of despair. The friends, once united by their curiosity, were now torn apart by fear. Panic set in as they scrambled to find an escape, their frantic footsteps a haunting rhythm in the otherwise silent house. But the unseen terror was relentless. It toyed with them, drawing them deeper into its grasp, feeding off their fear. The once lively group was reduced to mere shadows of their former selves, their strength waning under the relentless assault of the unseen terror. One by one, they fell prey to the terror, their screams echoing through the empty house. As dawn approached, only one remained, trapped in the House of Horrors. A chilling silence had fallen over the place, a silence so deep it was as if the very walls were holding their breath. Our final survivor, heart pounding like a war drum, knew they were not alone. The house, once a beacon of laughter and joy, had transformed into a labyrinth of fear, a place where shadows danced and whispered secrets better left untold. In the dim light, every corner seemed to hide a specter, every creak of the floorboards a sinister warning. The air was heavy with anticipation, a tangible dread that hung like a shroud. The entity of the house, no longer a mere whisper in the dark, was now a full manifestation of terror. It was everywhere and nowhere, a presence felt more than seen, a cold touch on the back of the neck, a soft sigh in the ear. The survivor, driven by a primal need to escape, pushed through the paralyzing fear. Each step was a battle against unseen forces, a struggle against the entity that seemed to seep from the walls. It was a game of cat and mouse, a deadly dance between the living and the ethereal. Moments felt like hours as the survivor navigated through the twisted corridors, their breath coming in ragged gasps. The house seemed to be alive, shifting and changing, the walls closing in, the shadows growing longer. And through it all, the entity loomed, its presence a chilling reminder of the horrors that had transpired. But as the first rays of dawn pierced the veil of darkness, a sliver of hope emerged. With a final burst of courage, the survivor broke free from the house's cold grasp. The heavy door creaked open, revealing the world outside, a world untouched by the horrors within. With one last look at the House of Nightmares, they stepped out into the light. With a final burst of courage, they escaped, leaving the house and its horrors behind. Their freedom was a testament to their will to survive, a haunting reminder of the darkness they had left behind. But as they stepped into the rising sun, one question remained. Would the horrors of the house ever truly let them go? In the light of day, the house stood silent once again, its secrets buried deep within. The once bustling beacon of terror was now nothing more than a forlorn monument of the night's dreadful events. Each shattered window, each broken door, a silent testament to the terror that unfolded within its decrepit walls. The survivor, forever scarred by the night's events, was left grappling with trauma. The echoes of the unseen terror that had once chased them through the darkness now chased them in their dreams. Sleep became a luxury they could no longer afford. The ordinary turned extraordinary, as shadows morphed into monstrous forms, and silence screamed louder than any sound. The house, now devoid of life, stood still in the heart of the town. Yet, its presence was more pronounced than ever. Its ominous silhouette cast long, chilling shadows that seemed to creep into the hearts of those who dared to look. Its silence, louder than the town's bustling chatter, served as a grim reminder of the horrors that once roamed within its walls. The mystery of the house remained, its secrets locked away, hidden from prying eyes. The whispers of the past echoed through the hollow halls, each one a chilling tale of terror. The house, once a symbol of joy and laughter, was now a haunting reminder of a night that the town would never forget. The house still stands, a silent witness to the horrors of that night, waiting for its next victim. Its windows, like vacant eyes, stare emptily into the void, as if waiting, watching. The echoes of the past still linger, a chilling reminder of the unseen terror that once inhabited its rooms. It's a story that continues to unfold, a tale that's far from over. A tale that reminds us that some secrets are better left buried, and some doors are better left unopened.